Hey, what's up? Today I will be talking about inner power, your inner power, how you can grow it, and why it's important to have more inner power to cultivate your health, your physical health, your mental health, the life satisfaction, the life in a flow, where no one can control you because you're so detached. So hopefully this video will shed a lot of light how you can increase your inner power. You will get exactly what I mean when I talk about inner power, how that's tied to self-love and feeling confident from within. To dive right in, what I call inner power is the realization of your pure potential. I want to repeat it. Inner power is the realization of your pure potential, and realizing this, recognizing this, feeling it. Okay? So inner power can be compared to what we understand as confidence, as a sense of pride, but not that bully-like, forceful kind of trying to control something or someone, but the pure, detached, healthy confidence that is brimming from within, is brimming from inside of you and has nothing to do with other people, with objects, with status that you have. And right here, I want to kind of tie in how most people understand power and where the mistake comes from. So how people understand power is through having control over something or someone, like I said, propping themselves up by the external means of people that are maybe submissive to them or easily bullied or molded, status that you can gain from performing maybe a certain career. This, I call them props because they prop you up. Okay, and another example could be getting some sort of things, objects, better cars, better houses, and these things kind of prop up a person from the outside to feel a little bit powerful, sometimes a lot powerful. But the truth is, it can never be as fulfilling and as the real inner power. A person who feels themselves from the outside, well, actually they don't feel themselves from the outside, but they prop themselves up from the outside, they will often feel empty inside. They will often feel like frauds. They will often feel like they might have imposter syndrome, because all they are doing is to get some sort of recognition from the outside. The inner power is, like I said, is healthy, from brimming from within, detached from any of the outside things. It is independent from people. It's independent from your job. It does not identify you with any of those things. So like I'm saying, people tend to prop themselves up because they believe objects, things, people, status, recognition from the outside can give them that feeling. And I talk all about how to fulfill yourself from within, how to have that inner power and live in a flow in my videos. This is really important. Now let's talk about why and how you can increase your inner power. Why is it paramount for you to have that inner power? But before I do it, I will tell you why you would listen to me. Why on earth I, out of all people, know anything about this? Well, over 10 years ago, I became sick, and I was sick for at least a couple of years of my life, really sick. How I got myself out of the illness, the sickness that was diagnosed, medically diagnosed sickness, I pulled myself through recognizing my inner power, my inner potential. and working through this, through alchemizing my emotions, through using the awareness and acuteness of different small changes in my energy where I was able to observe it. So I would be changing my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions accordingly by tiny tweaks all the time, so I could grow more and more of that power to become healthy. And that leads me to why you need to be cultivating inner power. Well, having inner power is an equivalent to being healthy, mentally and physically healthy and strong. It builds on our consciousness. So inner power equates to higher consciousness. Let's call it this way as well. When you've grown through stages of consciousness, when you've actualized certain levels of being through your actions, through your beliefs, and through your thoughts, you have landed in the space that brims with vitality. Literally all our cells are connected to that inner knowing that gives it information, that propels them into being healthy, into thriving, into being robust, into being resilient. And they know exactly how to organize themselves when you are aware of your inner power. And since I've healed myself in that way about 9 years ago, 2014, I've been studying and cultivating and then teaching it to others. So to develop a life of inner power, inner resilience, inner confidence, a life in a flow, a life in harmony with the universe, and honoring your authenticity. So this really leads to increased levels of joy in life, into awareness of bliss. How you can cultivate this is through investing in your inner power. I already hinted through what I was just describing that a lot of that builds on the choices that you make. To increase your inner power works in direct proportion of living life intentionally through choosing many times a day the correct thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It's all to do with awareness of your choices all the time. And the opportunities to change, to choose differently, are communicated to us many times a day, even thousands of times a day, each day, through your emotions. I speak about it in my other video, how negative emotions are key to working on fulfilling your inner power and fulfilling your soul's destiny, because this is what we're working towards, the pure potential. So, like I mentioned, your soul's needs are communicated to you thousands of times a day sometimes. And many people simply don't listen. We are reactive to how we feel instead of using the emotions as information that they are, that tell us when we should choose differently. We choose our thoughts, our beliefs, the job, the career, the relationships, the people that are in our life, the environment, the foods that we eat, the drinks that the passions that we engage with, the hobbies, how we spend our life, the leisure time, what kind of movies you watch. We choose those things every single day. And an example I want to give you to already get an idea how that power might be feeling, I want you to remember a certain time in the past where you took a choice in your life. You stood up for yourself and you chose something. Not to escape a situation, but you really believed something is gonna work. even against the odds, even against what other people advised you, and you have chosen it, and you were feeling like, I made it. I feel like stronger, because I chose this, because I believed it was the right thing to do, and you felt better. So this is one of the choices. And the other choice you could have made is like you listened to people's advice, maybe you were afraid of the consequences. So you kind of compromised and you played it safe, and it might have left you feeling weaker because you chose by someone's advice, or you chose by, trying to avoid something. That's never a good advice to cultivate inner power. Now you might be saying, I am not choosing my thoughts because they just come to me. I am not choosing the job because or a person because I chose them a few years back. So I'm not making those choices. So here I wanted to tell you how we make choices all the time, thousands and thousands of times a day. So let's look how you're choosing your thoughts. Well, you're choosing your thoughts based on your beliefs. And again, you might be saying, I don't choose my beliefs, they're core beliefs. You have unconsciously chosen them. And sticking to the old beliefs is like not choosing a new one. Whatever you don't change, every day you have opportunity to change, you are choosing it again. The person that you chose 5 years ago, you're still choosing every day. You're not changing, is choosing again. The job that you go to and maybe makes you miserable, makes you notice every day how you are wasting your potential on doing something based on a compromise perhaps. And you might be saying, yes, I work this job because I've chosen a career, I've already invested so much. You are choosing it all the time. Every day we can change, we can start over. It's not to say it's going to be easy, but it might be more authentic. It might build more of your inner power if you do this, if you pursue something that is aligned to you. Because like I say in my other video, the emotions of feeling miserable or feeling upset, stressed in that job or with that person happen because you are communicated through those feelings. You are needing to change something. You're outside of your authenticity. You are functioning in a lie. It's something that is not fulfilling your pure potential. You are not filling yourself up. You're living somewhere outside, which often makes us feel lost. We are disconnected from the core self that always tells us what's right for us to fulfill your soul's destiny. Like I say, the choices are the most important aspect how we build inner power over time. And again, if you're not convinced about how we're choosing all the time by not changing, I can give you a perfect example, which is voting. If you decide your vote doesn't count and you know kind of maybe what kind of preferences you are, but you choose not to go to vote, you are still voting by not going to vote. You are choosing the opposite, the thing that is detrimental to you. When you are in the point of choice and you're not choosing the right thing, then you're always choosing the wrong thing. It's a very simple thing that works for you all the time, all the time. And the more we're aware of our thoughts, our actions, our beliefs, all the time, they whisper to us. If we're far away from the correct ones, we are getting the negative feelings. We're getting the pain of being disconnected from our core self. The pain comes from disconnection from your core inner knowing. Is like a longing for becoming closer to your truth, to your pure potential. And the way most people choose, maybe you can think back into your past, but one might be choosing a career or a job as a way to avoid consequences. This is mostly how people choose things. This is not a way to create life. We're not creating, we're simply living through avoidance. It's acting small. You're never going to fulfill your potential if you're choosing by avoidance. So one might be choosing a career, a job, because that will give them more money. They want to avoid being poor. They want to avoid even working their passion, but they're scared of being poor. They have a belief that they couldn't be abundant whilst working that passion, okay? Another way we are choosing based on trying to avoid some consequences and therefore landing in kind of detrimental situation for us is if you're choosing a partner that just gives you this familiar feeling all the time, but if you've noticed you have a pattern of maybe landing in toxic relationships, well, if you want to stick with avoiding exploring new ways of relating, if that's too much of a stretch for you and you'd rather stay in that comfort zone out of fear, then again you will land in the same toxic relationship. And if you're a creator of some sort or an artist, you might be choosing a safe path, a safe style, because you believe this will sell better. Maybe a subject or a style that you're painting that will guarantee you not being rejected by the crowds. Again, choosing by avoidance, compromising. All these things leave us with a certain feeling of weakness. You know, there's always a bad aftertaste when you have chosen something based on compromise. You might be always wondering, what would it be had I chose, the thing that I felt would be what I want to do more, right? Different style of painting, different job, different career. That's why the one thing people regret on their deathbed, if that they didn't live more authentically, that they didn't risk more, right? And you're living this life by constantly rehashing the old choices and acting out of fear, acting out of trying to seek safety, looking for certainty and guarantees in your life. There is no guarantees in our lives. No matter what kind of safe choice you make, you still can't guarantee yourself being safe. Being safe happens through raising your inner power by choosing the right thing, by choosing the thing aligned to you. Oftentimes, it happens against odds, against what is familiar, against what we think we are predicting, even though we're not predicting it. We can't. Life goes on in its own ways. So we should be choosing what feels right, what our gut is telling us we should choose. And oftentimes these choices may feel very illogical, counterintuitive. People will advise against them. If you ask people, actually asking advice is another thing that decreases your inner power, because you're feeding your soul with self-doubt. You're constantly negating your inner knowing, where you could have known by yourself based on what you feel is right. So the right choices, choosing the right thoughts, working on your beliefs that should be turned into the right, the healthy, the helpful beliefs, increases your inner power, increases the inner strength. And if you are a highly sensitive person that is in tune with your sensations, with small changes of energy, then you will feel immediately feedback from your body, from your energy, that you've done the right thing. You immediately feel like you're more relaxed, more settled when you've chosen the right thought, the right belief, when you've changed your perspective. This, belief is nothing else than a perspective. Let's call it this way. Because some people will say their beliefs are ingrained in me, I can't change them, they are unchangeable, they are final. And I explain in my other videos that beliefs can be changed over time and all the time. You just need to put yourself first, and easy thing is to start acting based on what feels right against that old belief that might be unhelpful, and see what happens. Build up evidence for yourself that the old mindset, the old perspective, the old belief, as we call it, was wrong all along. Your beliefs can be changed every day, any day, because your inner core knows what is true for you. That's why whenever you have negative emotions, it tells you probably your beliefs are wrong. They told you how to think wrongly, how to act inauthentically, whatever choice you made was inauthentic. It knows, and the further you land from that pure potentiality, from realizing your inner knowing and being connected to it, this is when we get completely disconnected from our core self, from our soul, from those whispers that all the time try to bring us onto the healthy, abundant, and peaceful path, which is your baseline. This is your foundation. The farther you go from your authentic expression, from growing that inner power, you're decreasing that inner power. And the longer you stay outside of being authentic and true to yourself, you become weaker over time, and the longer and the more intense detachment from your inner knowing is, the consequences will be bigger. People get sick, like I said, they mentally, physically sick. They can't connect to a fulfilled life of passion. The work won't be satisfying. The relationship will produce the feeling of emptiness and disconnect or abuse. All these things happen when we are not expressing ourselves authentically. We fall down on our consciousness level. That is like a downward spiral. Then it produces the feedback loop. Everything produces a feedback loop. Whatever is your belief, you will put out actions based on that, and you will see the same result coming back. Right? So you will constantly be on a downward spiral if you are disconnected from your inner knowing. If you don't act authentically, you are growing farther away from inner power. You are completely missing your potentiality and soul's expression. Like I say, beliefs are the most important aspects because it determines your thoughts and your behaviors, your attitudes, and actually your attitudes grow into habits which create your personality, and then it dominates your whole life. Then that's all there is. So working on your beliefs is super important. Adopting beliefs that are healthy is going to be paramount for you. It was paramount for me, and whenever I feel negative feelings, negative emotions, then I go with myself into a quiet space and I inspect my thoughts, my beliefs. What did I choose? Where did they come from? So the healthy beliefs that you might want to assume that are correct for all of us is that you are pure potential. You are a divine being. Every one of us is pure potential and a divine being. The world that you see around you, your circumstances, no matter how poor you are, no matter what kind of people are around you, what kind of job you work, it doesn't determine what is inside. It just describes your choices, your past choices. It's an expression of your past choices that were missed from alignment. Now, if you assume your pure potential, unlimited potential, you're a divine being, that your foundation of what you are is healthy, abundant, full of joy and harmony and peace. I'm going to repeat it because some of you might be shaking your heads. On the most basic level, you are, if not disrupted, if not going against your nature, you are healthy, abundant, full of joy, harmony, and peace. These things happen when we don't go against ourselves. These things happen when we live in a flow. You grow more power by taking the right choices based on those beliefs that, again, increase your evidence and your self-belief and your inner confidence, and you feel literally like your body grows more resilient, like you're just bursting vitality and expression of life. The last belief I want you to assume is correct is that life, cosmos, supports you into fulfilling your own potential when you take choices that increase your power. Maybe a little bit complicated, but rewind and watch it again. When you take the right choices based on what increases your power, based on trust and love, you're always fulfilling your life potential, and life will always meet you halfway. I used to not be able to trust life. I was so controlling because I did not experience much of support in my earlier life, and I had to do everything on my own. I believed I had to do everything on my own. I believed I had to keep myself safety through controlling circumstances, through overworking, through over extending myself, through people pleasing, through constantly self-sacrificing my values for a large part of my life, even though a lot of my choices were risky and based on trust. There were still a lot that were, self-sacrificing, and they were weakening me. That's why I ended up sick. This is how people end up sick. Detached, disconnected from pure potential. Now, the journey to increasing inner power is what I call, in other ways, journey to self-love. Because also I mentioned, the consistency of showing up for yourself is how you also feel that love from within over time. But it's all about the consistency of showing up. And if you want to watch all about this, I explain it. I will attach a video here. But when people are talking about self-love, most of them, they don't even know this is what it means. But the real fulfillment that you're finding, the brimming from within core inner power, is a result of that consistent showing up, showing yourself the consistent love of how we show up for someone we really cherish and care about. The more you are in tune with how you're feeling, your energy, sensations, especially highly sensitive people have this immense gift of very quickly recognizing this. You will feel changes, dramatic changes, when you take the right choice, something that fulfills you, something when you stand up for yourself, when you make a choice that feels authentic. Those small moments when you feel so empowered in that moment, give you the hint of how you might feel over extended period of time on acting in accordance to your values, to your integrity, to the trust that you have in yourself, to knowing that you can always respond to various life's occurrences, to various events, that you can always shift and make another choice because you have this inner GPS that tells you what is right for you, that grows inner power over time. Your consciousness is growing, your vibration is increasing, you're flowing through life. And this is all I talk about through my different videos, how you can flow in life through creating, not avoiding, through increasing your power, the emotional alchemy, how you use your emotions and beliefs, and how those things all come to making you feel more happy, more healthy, more empowered over time, thinking for yourself, knowing that no one can control you if you do those things. So thank you for watching. I will include a link to another video that will deepen your knowledge right here. And I hope to see you in the next episode of my channel.